By the way, it made me hungry and miss Christmas.
In a time where all podcasts are the same, two guys have decided that enough is enough. This is the League of Unextraordinary Gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the newest edition of the League of Unextraordinary Gentlemen. I'm Stefan, he's Eric. We are the League. As we've always said, the League has several members. They are slightly in attendance tonight. We're missing super producer Mickey Coachella. That is going to make it, I believe, 3 podcasts in a row that he has not been here for to produce. Now is trailing pretty significantly down to 43. You're up to 57%.
Yes, I'm in the
polls.
majority.
I find it remarkable.
Keep voting right here on this little link.
That he did one episode and still holds 43% of the vote. You better pick it up. I think you got another great opportunity here tonight.
Try to do it without taking my clothes off, okay?
I think we should start with the most unextraordinary of topics, and that's what's happened in our lives in the past week. I'd like to lead off, if you don't mind. You had a nice diatribe last time around about skiing in Montana.
Take it away.
I did something different. I went salsa dancing.
Wow.
With my wife. Now, my wife is an excellent salsa dancer. She used to be like a showgirl at Maryland Live. That was part of the gig to like dance with the guests.
I could see Sunday being a good salsa dancer.
And I'm like, hey, are you gonna can you teach me? And she's like, well, no, because it's totally different for guys. They have to like lead, and the girl just has to like follow. And she's like, I don't know how to lead. I'm like, well, cool. I'm a pretty good dancer. You know, I was like, I'll pick it up, right? And so I go, and I'm dancing with her. And it's like a class to start for like the first hour. And I'm dancing with her for like 30 seconds. And the instructor, he's got like this beautiful like flowing ponytail. He's like this 50-year-old Hispanic guy. Kind of looks like my grandmother Dux. It was weird. Anyway, he goes, all right, change partners. Right? We were like all lined up. And I go and like standing, I'm dancing with a complete, I'm like, all right, babe, see you later. Like, I thought I was dancing with my wife.
No.
You know? And then we're going, I'm like, and it's just the steps. And I got the steps really well, right? It was like a 35, 40 minutes. And then he's like, all right, we're going to step up to the intermediate class. And he's like, if you've never done this before, you should probably get off the dance floor now because it's not going to be easy, okay? And I look around, there's like 12 other dudes, and none of them get off the dance floor. And there's like a guy who's like 6'5", like 280 pounds. He's wearing a fucking kilt. Like, he moved like a moose. I was like, this guy's not getting off the floor, and I'm not either, you know what I mean? So then we start doing the intermediate stuff, and it's like spinning the girls and like spinning yourself, and I can't like get the hands down, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's getting overwhelming. And he's like walking by, and he looks at me, he's like, oh, you're in trouble, my friend. And I'm like, fuck, you know what I mean?
He did warn you.
He did, and then it was some other thing, and it was the next part, and he'd already made an announcement like, hey, if you're not good at this, like you're gonna screw up your partner, and be honest with yourself. And then he comes back past me, and then he stops after I like couldn't get, I was just like fucking flipping around like a fish, right? And he goes, he says it again. He's like, listen. And he's like basically looking where I am right now, and he's talking to everybody. He's like, you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not good enough and this is your first time, you're going to screw up your partner, they're going to be dancing wrong, and you're going to screw it up for everybody. So I looked at Sunday, and I was like, I'm going to get off the dance floor. He's talking to me, right? So I did, I kind of hung out on the sidelines and drank. And then, like, the real dancing started, right? Like, after the class, and we hung out for a couple hours, and she has her dance partner, Dave. It's like her old neighbor that she used to dance with. He's a nice guy, and anyway, I got in there sometimes, but like I could tell, like I just wasn't at the level that like she just wanted to dance, you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
you just keeping your hands low, white boy dance.
I'll say it to you this way: like I'm not like Fred Astaire, but I've never been the worst dancer in the room. Like I'm usually like, hey, that guy's pretty good. Like, whoo! So I gotta practice, Pauls. I don't know what you're doing after this, but if you could stick around, and let me spin you around like a top.
Nope. I'm too big. I'm 6'2".
All right.
Can't spin me.
I got other things that happened. You did something when you took your daughter skiing?
Yeah,
we'll talk about the show, obviously.
Took them skiing. But
you're just a skiing machine.
Man, I'm on it now. I'm in it. I'm on it. I'm excited to be back in the game. Haven't done it for a few years. And they're doing great. They're standing up on their own.
Great.
But I fucked up my back. My back is pretty fucked
Of
up.
course you did. You're a fucking
fucked
Steve.
up.
You literally have a chiropractor appointment tomorrow morning. You go like on a weekly basis, and you're doing like one of the most high impact things you could do for your
yeah.
knees or your back. You should
Yes.
just play one-on-one basketball for like 6 hours a day as a training regimen as well.
I'm terrible at basketball.
Yeah, but it'll fuck your back up more, and I think that's the goal with all of this, right? Like get addicted to painkillers.
There you go. Okay, cool, yeah.
Do you have any painkillers, like a codeine or like a?
I don't.
It's like a really.
No.
What are like the really strong Tylenols? I don't want any.
Those are, I have the illegal types.
What are those?
Well, you'll just have to.
Yellow jackets?
I can't talk about this.
That's for your dick.
They're horse tranquilizers.
Okay. You're like Dexter.
They're the red ones.
Ketamine.
Yeah, they're the big red ones.
What else? You know what I did on Sunday before we go over the show? I played a board game. I played. You remember Risk?
Yeah.
I
I think I played that when I was in like middle school.
Yeah, I probably hadn't played it since maybe high school.
Before I had a driver's license and
I-
learned about booze.
I
and
had 5 friends over.
weed.
I had 5 friends over. It was Game of Thrones themed Risk. I had a fire in the fireplace. We had the Game of Thrones theme music going. My wife came home in the middle of us playing it, and when I say I had to beat that pussy off with a stick when she saw me playing fucking Risk with my nerd friends, listening to drinking out of my Jamie Lannister cup. But it was pretty fun. I'll be honest. I keep trying to like reorganize.
Does a Jamie Lannister cup have like a leather like glove attached
No,
to it?
it's not as cool as I made it sound. It's just a Lannister like wine glass, but it's got like the lion sigil on it. My
okay.
mom got it for me for Christmas. It was like a set.
Wow.
So I was
I
obviously
thought I was the dorky one.
I was obviously House Lannister. We're gonna get way dorkier. I'm gonna talk about video games in a little
Oh
while.
boy. Here
I
we
know.
go.
I don't know what's happening to me.
I think it's because you hit yourself in the face on the way
Maybe I
in
did
here.
hit myself in the face with my
Wow.
car door on the way in. I don't know if you guys can see it. I thought like
It's
the
making
light
my
was,
back feel better.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. I
Keep
like
looking at it.
leaned in. It's very dark in the parking lot here, by the way. My car is very dark, so I pulled like a Tommy.
Do I smell a lawsuit?
Maybe. Speaking of which, we had a wonderful show on Saturday
We
night.
did
on-
at Snifters.
on the Eastern Shore Snifters. Jiminy Peppercorns was our
Yes.
headliner, and man, did he do a great job, as per usual. But at
peppercorn ham,
the,
pepper grinder
pepper
hands.
grinder.
Yeah.
That's Justin Schlegel.
Justin Schlegel.
Well, you have to. It's an inside joke, folks. It happened at the show.
Yeah.
He fashioned peppercorn hands at some point. But so at the end of the night, though, we hadn't been around Fight Energy in quite some time.
Right.
And we were sort of like packing up the equipment, you know, and like talking to some of the guests that were still there.
It was also a very rowdy crowd. Like there was
rowdy.
a lot of they were excited to be there for comedy. They weren't a bad audience. They were
weren't.
just it was a full moon week, and the women.
true.
I feel like the women were on it
Yeah.
that night
Well,
because
and then before we get to the fight, I guess there was that one woman there that just heckled the entire night.
The entire night.
And then Wendy took 20 minutes out of her 25-minute set
Right.
to absolutely
Just
just
destroyed her.
fillet that woman. So it was great, to watch Wendy do that. We hadn't seen her rip the shit out of somebody in a while.
was
but
her name Michelle?
I don't know. But don't,
Michelle.
hey, tip to all you guys out
Yeah.
there. You're never helping.
Never helping.
Like, if speak when spoken to by the comic,
Right. Right.
But don't think you're a part of the show. You don't go to a Broadway play and start yelling at Hamlet
No.
that, he's a wife or
I think
motherfucker.
I think
so.
she even said at one point, "But I'm helping."
No, you weren't. You weren't helping.
And the whole room was like, "Shut the fuck up."
Well, so anyway, I think the room was on edge because of that already.
Right.
So then we got to the end of the night, and then it was a chick fight.
Yeah.
It was 2 women.
It was the two more subtle hecklers on the other side of the room.
And then I've never seen this before. The guy that was like defending one of the women yelled at the other woman, and she goes, "You're a piece of trash!" Right? And then the guy steps in and like just backs up his girlfriend and gets in the woman's face, and he goes, "No, she is not a piece of trash." And then like just backed up, and that was like the end of the fight. But there was like pushing and
oh
shoving.
no,
and
the two
guys-
girls were trying to go at it.
Yeah, they were.
But
The
a
guys
bunch of
pulled them
people we
apart.
got in, we pulled
I
them
mean, it's the
apart.
Eastern Shore. You had like giant dudes who just like
Yeah.
kind of hem these girls
Yeah.
up. But I like that the guy was very articulate. It was like this drunken brawl.
No.
He's like, "You are wrong. She is not a piece of trash." It's like very
But
matter of fact.
that was the argument back and forth. It was just they kept yelling, "You're a piece of trash! No, you're a piece of trash!"
It was great.
And then one was like, "You're trailer park trash," and it just kept escalating from there.
You
But-
are not a piece of trash. Do you understand? She is not, and you are not.
Oh yeah, it was a good
I
time.
feel like you already bitched. You were going to talk about
I
your
did.
back.
My back really does suck, but you know what? Though I'm trying to look at things in a more positive light,
Okay.
and it could be worse. You know, my back hurts from skiing, but at least it's not like this Olympian whose his penis got frozen while he was doing the I think the biathlon. Maybe
Don't know
was
this
it?
story. You act like everybody knows it. Tell
Well,
the story.
one of the Olympians. It was so cold out there in China. I'm sure everybody heard. If you didn't, it was cold. And yeah, they're not wearing a lot of material. They're wearing those like unitard things that are like super thin, very wind resistant.
You wear those for your triathletes.
I do. They're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Unless your penis
I'm
gets
sure.
frozen.
Yeah, real comfortable when your dick is literally frozen inside them.
He was so adamant about finishing the race that he continued to ski and he froze his penis.
Unbelievable.
And he finished.
What is his country of origin?
Well, he's Finnish.
He's
so
He's from
Finland.
Finland.
And
Those Finns are tough as a
well,
fucking
hold
bag
on,
of dicks.
It gets better. So he did all that to finish 28th. Okay.
28th with a frozen dick?
Right? And he talks about this. Get this. The worst is when they thawed it out. They put a warm pack on it. He said the pain is excruciating. And this wasn't the first time it's happened to him.
He's frozen his dick, but what's the highest he's ever finished?
I don't know. He's
Get
he's
it?
finished.
Oh, stupid.
That was a
dumb.
good one.
That was horrible.
So it's still intact. But I think the most upsetting part is in the Olympics. I don't know if you heard this, but there's a lot of sex that happens amongst the competitors.
Didn't know that. No.
There's a lot of sex. There's a stat out there. I didn't get it, but the amount of condoms, like they're giving them condoms.
The
when
Olympians?
So when
In
they
the
get
Olympics?
there, yes. Well, they're not having sex in the Olympics. It's usually in between.
I wish sex was an Olympic event.
It could be one.
What would it be? Would it be like style,
Yeah.
speed, and power?
Yep.
Like with that, what would we measure in the sex
Like
competition?
the
higher
higher
athleticism.
the higher the rating because the position, like in gymnastics, they get a different score if they do a harder move.
Would it be a couples event, or would it be some guy just like humping a post? Like you're just admiring his technique, you know?
Well, I think there's going to be a spread. There's going to be that, like the solo round.
Pole humping.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then there's going to be couples. There's probably going to be some orgy competitions happening.
Now, you brought up trans athletes in the last episode.
Ooh, they're going to have to be in their own
This could get dicey.
area.
What about the Special Olympics? Would that have a category? This got weird.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I'm going to
sex be happening. You
Yeah.
literally wrote sex be
be
happening.
happening.
You can't write that.
But it...
Jesus Christ. Keep going.
Okay. So, hold on. So, the
Uh-huh.
Olympics, they're having a lot of sex in the Olympics, but because of the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic,
Right.
the company that makes Durex condoms, this is a shameless plug for Durex condoms if you're looking to sponsor us. Yeah, they took like a 44% hit over the pandemic.
And I believe it. Nobody
because
was
nobody was
fucking.
able to have sex.
Well, strangers weren't fucking.
Well, definitely no.
You know what I mean?
Right. So they're expecting to have a big 2022
Yeah. See,
between the Olympics and the pandemic coming out.
See, wait, but during the pandemic, I was the opposite. I wore a mask and a condom the whole time just to be as protected as possible. I wasn't married for a large part of it. I mean, I was with her,
Right.
you know, but I wanted to be, you never know what could happen out there.
You never know.
In
The
the
pandemic
streets.
ended a lot of relationships too.
Sure did.
Sure
Made
did.
some stronger. Mine grew stronger.
That's
She-
good.
At least I think so. I sunk my hooks into her so deep. Oh, God. Russia attacked the Ukraine last week. It fucking happened. I told you
did.
guys World War III was on the
It's
horizon.
on the way. Hey, guess who didn't start it? Donald Trump.
Donald Trump didn't start,
He did
but
not
he did
start
back
it.
Putin. I think he did send some tweet out or on his new platform.
He
or
did
whatever.
what?
He said, didn't you tell me he backed Putin in some way?
I don't know if he backed it.
Somebody told me that I was talking to today was like, yeah, good job.
Nah, I think we need to do a little more research on that.
I don't know. I have none. I have no source. Sean Penn, though, is filming.
Hey, I got this guy who gave me a real good tip on a stock. You want to know what that is?
That's how stock markets work. Actor Sean Penn, is filming a documentary
Right.
in the Ukraine while all this is going on. He has the full support of the Ukraine government. They're saying they're going to show what's really happening. My favorite Sean Penn role when he was Kleinfeld, where he was like the scumbag Jew lawyer in Carlito's Way with the curly
Yes.
hair and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
glasses,
yeah.
and he's like doing blow, and he ends up getting Carlito killed. What is your favorite Sean Penn
I'm
role?
gonna go with I Am Sam.
I Am Sam.
I'm totally kidding.
Never go full retard. I can't say that either.
I'm gonna say Mystic River.
Mystic
I thought he was
River.
really, really good in.
Clint
that.
Eastwood directed that.
Yes.
Mystic River was really good. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
course.
Spicoli.
I didn't want to be too,
Yeah.
low hanging.
Mystic River. He was all jacked up in that. Like,
oh, he was like kind of like mafia, wasn't he?
He got blackballed, I feel like, by
He did.
Hollywood. Sean Penn was like the one of the biggest actors in the world. Was it I Am Sam? Was that what it was?
I think that was the turning point. I think that was.
I miss Sean Penn being like a leading man.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good actor. I'm trying to look at some more here.
It's okay. I feel like this is a good lead into, hey, what are we watching? You know?
Right.
That's the new name of this.
do it.
Hey, what are we watching? Scooty-boopity-doo with a graphic. You want to go first? I see you're finishing Inventing Anna. You were
we
talking
finished.
about that
We
last
finished
time.
Inventing
It's on
Anna.
Netflix?
Yeah, it had a good strong finish.
I saw that maybe Miss Toni Collette is an actress in that. Did I see her?
Not that I'm aware of. I think you saw wrong, because I like Toni Collette.
I thought she was on the graphic on top of Anna in the ad that I saw on Netflix. Caught my eye because you talked about it last time.
No, not Toni
I
Collette.
need our producer to find out if Toni Collette is in that show. And anyway, keep going.
So I don't want to spoil. Am I doing spoilers or a
I
spoiler
wouldn't
alert?
spoil. Just
No,
tell us if you liked it.
No,
Give us
I
a number.
really did like it. I'm gonna close it out. I think I said 8.5 last time. I'm gonna hold it out with a strong 8.5. It gave good closure, and I wouldn't say it was a happy ending, but it definitely. The whole series is 9 parts. You're back and forth. You're like, she is a Germanaire. She's not a Germanaire. She's just a total scumbag, scammer. And then you're like, I hate her. And then you're like, man, this poor sweet girl. It's just like, it's a very emotional turmoil thing. I like it. It's good.
I
It's
love
good.
it. It sounds riveting.
It is. Sticking with an 8.5.
I am watching a show on Netflix. It's called Lock and Key. Have you heard of this?
Sounds familiar.
It was like a graphic novel. I'm on the 2nd season. It's about like a family that has a legacy kind of based in, I'll call it magic. They have like keys in their house.
Okay.
And it only speaks to children. So the kids find the keys, and all the keys do different things. Like there's a head key where they can unlock it, and they can go inside people's brains and like
Wow.
see what there's another key that opens doors to anywhere. There's like all these kinds of different keys, and then there's like demons trying to get the keys to use them for evil. And it's a great show. It's got like a Spielberg-y kind of like
So
80s vibe to
Are
it.
the kids the protectors of the key?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Adults,
Keys.
when they become adults, they forget, and they forget magic.
Okay, it's kind of like a Peter Pan type.
A little bit. And they're trying to find a
Never
way to not
Neverland
forget.
kind of thing.
I'm giving it a fucking 9. I'm
Okay.
2nd season, things amped up, and they're just
right.
continuing to amp up. Other thing I'm watching Sunday, I'd never seen it. I'm revisiting Eastbound and Down. Did you watch that?
I
back in the
didn't
day,
watch
right?
all of it, and I also tried to revisit that probably in the last year and a half.
So good.
It is, but I'm a big Righteous Gemstones fan, and he's just so much better. Which, I mean, obviously,
Kenny
because
Powers is pretty
he's-
iconic.
he is. I'm not dogging it. I'm just saying.
When Will Ferrell is talking to him and the dude from The Office that played Daryl, I forget, Craig Robinson, I think his name is, and Will Ferrell's talking about when his son Gabriel comes in the room, and he's like, Gabriel, he reminds me of my son Gabriel came in the room, and he's talking about having sex. He's like, powerful thrust, having sex with his. Oh my God! Dude.
Wait, what is this in the first season?
Yeah, it's in the
Okay.
5th episode. And then
I
I
need to
watched the
dig back
blooper
in.
reel outtake where Will Ferrell was just improv the whole thing, and Danny McBride and Craig Robinson are trying to keep a
Just
straight
trying to
face.
not fucking
Go
lose
watch
it.
the bloopers on YouTube. It's
Okay.
so fucking funny.
All right,
Anyway,
bring
Sunday
back
really
in.
likes it. Likes
I mean,
watching
it's
this
good.
white trash icon, Kenny Powers.
He owns that character role. Like he really
they're
owns
heading
it.
down to Mexico in season. We're on season 2.
All right.
Things are amping
Spring
up.
training.
Yeah, and then the last thing I'll tell you about, to go back into a little bit of nerddom, just because I've been reading about this, there's a new game coming out at midnight tonight, a new video game. It's called Elden Ring. It releases at midnight. I hadn't heard much about it, but I started reading. It's one of the, already, before coming out, one of the best reviewed video games of all time. George R.R. Martin, who developed Game of Thrones and wrote all the books, wrote the story and developed all the characters.
Nice.
So I think I'm taking off work tomorrow. I'm gonna fucking buy this video game and see what it's all about.
I might come over and check it out.
You should come over tomorrow morning. We'll play
Yeah.
some music, we'll play some video
Right.
games, and we'll get fired from our day jobs.
Well, at least we'll have fun going down with the ship.
I
wanted
can't, and again, my wife is going to be super turned on when she comes in the door. You know, I'll just be covered in Cheetos. I'm in my PJs still.
Oh boy,
It's going to be great.
you won't even be able to open your eyelids. You'll be like, "What's up?" In the dark room, you'll be like, "Oh, that bright light. Can you turn it down?" a little
Well,
bit?"
I'll tell you guys next week if it's the best video game ever. It's because they're making it out today.
So I'm gonna finish up with Reacher. We talked about that
Oh
too.
yeah, the fucking guy. He
it's
just looks
still
like a
going
man
well.
mountain of muscle.
It's still going good. I actually put it on last night, and it actually captured Emily's attention. She was just like, "What is this?" I was like, "It's Reacher, and it's very good."
Very
And
good.
I was already a fan, and I think I even said it's just missing sex. It needs a little bit of nudity.
Of course, very
And
on
they-
brand for you.
And they heard my requests. I want to say episode 5 or 6. What's her name? Willa Fitzgerald is
Sure.
the female actress.
Okay,
role,
who's
and
the
she's-
male that plays Reacher?
It's Alan something. I
Just
can't
Al.
remember.
We'll just call him Al.
We'll call him Al.
Okay,
Uh,
that's your dad's name.
yeah,
Got
I
weird.
know.
It got weird. Got weird.
But no, so there's a scene where he's like all upset and he's taking a shower. And I'm like, uh-oh. Because there's just this, they're trying to pretend that they're not into each other. They're very professional and they're very adamant
I
about
like
being
that this is what
cold
you've
and
described.
distant.
You've described this in more detail than anything that you've talked about, including skiing with your kids. Keep going.
And I'm like, oh, she's going to come in and join him in the shower. And I thought maybe just like, like a top of the boob shot. Oh, she steps around the corner and it's a glass door and it's a full navel up.
Wow.
Full frontal,
Wow.
22 bullet hard nipples.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was like, whoa! I sat right up off of the couch. I was like, we're at a 9. We're now at a 9.
14-year-old me
Yeah.
would have been just losing it, right? It's on Skinamax, pretty much.
Well, the 41-year-old version of me rewound it and watched
love
it
it.
again.
Did they do sex to each other after that?
They did. They were doing shower sex.
Shower sex. Okay, balls. Picture this.
I was worried he was going to push her through the glass, though, because he's a mountain of man and she's a tiny little person.
Picture this. You're a
Okay.
judge at the first ever sex Olympics, all right? How would you rate Alan? I don't want to care about Willa because
Okay.
you're just a pervert and you'll
Okay.
love the female body.
All right.
How would you rate Alan's performance, both in terms of style, rhythm, and then, of course, raw power?
I'm going to go with probably, if we're doing a scale of 10, I'm going to probably go 8.5, 8.75, because he also had a nice ass shot in it, too.
And that's important.
It's
that's
very
that's its own
important.
category.
It really is.
Buttocks.
But he had her up against the glass. He had good form. He clearly was not strained because he's just a fucking horse. All muscle.
Clydesdale.
And she probably weighs a whole 100, maybe 110 because she's wet.
He threw her around like a rag doll, Eric, like that. All right, I've had enough of this topic. Would you mind if we move on?
We can move on.
You want to do statless sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
Jump shots. Goals. Running. Balls. Defense. Champions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marv Albert, and welcome to another edition of Statless Sports.
Thank you, Marv. And now scores from around the league. And last night, where the Ding Dong Texas Doorbells rang in a victory, taking down the Ketchup Town, South Carolina Fighting Mustard, 87-78. Standout performance from Mike the Mayonnaise Mason, as he spread himself all over the buns of the Doorbells, dropping in 56 in the Sweet Carolina Heat. It was a losing effort for the Mustard, however, and they'll need some extra flavor down the stretch to even have a chance of tasting the playoffs. And in our game of the week, the Dead Horse Alaska Zombie Steeds lost to the Santa Claus Indiana Angry Elves 224-187. Peter the Big Peppermint Stick Patterson was the best player of the night, gifting the Elves 107 points. The Angry Elves have been toying with their competition over the past month, beating their opponents by a combined 147 points over the last 5 games. With a workshop full of talent on the roster, the rest of this season is sure to be nice rather than naughty for the Angry Elves. And then lastly, do you remember former Washington Wizards player Juwan Howard?
Not Joanna Howard.
No, that was Juwan Man.
Okay.
Do you remember Juwan Howard?
No,
He was part
I
of the
don't.
Fab Five at Michigan. I'm getting nods from the producer.
Okay.
He's a coach now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I watched this.
We didn't really talk about it. It happened in the last couple weeks. He's been suspended for the rest of the season
Good.
after smacking a
Yeah.
rival coach. So more details on the punishment. He was hit with a $40,000 fine, and the
Not
guy
enough.
and the guy who he hit was hit with a $10,000 penalty. So he reviews the footage. They said Big Ten conference coaches and student athletes are expected to display the highest level of sportsmanship
100%.
conduct. So he literally he smoked in a face.
I saw the video clip and I was like, what the hell?
Oh my God!
I was like, he better get suspended or fired. You can't act like that as a coach. You got a lot of young players that look up to you as a role model, and then they see you do that, and then there were a
Agreed.
couple of the players were starting to like get into it. Like,
Agreed, but also one of the best things I've ever seen in all of sports.
Oh.
Like when Bobby Knight threw the chair, of course that was horrible and it was bad
Right.
sportsmanship.
Right.
But it made for one of those moments. Or when Ron Artest ran up into the stands and started hitting people. It was horrible.
Right.
Nobody was like, that's good.
Right.
But I'm gonna look back in sports history and be like, remember when Juwan Howard fucking slapped the taste out of that guy's mouth? Oh, yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. But anyway, I thought it was worthy sports
shame.
news.
It's a
40
shame.
grand it cost him. That's an expensive slap.
Yeah, but he probably clears
This is the
7 figures doing
same
that.
guy that told Mark Turgeon last year on court,
Mm-hmm.
"I'll kill you."
Yeah.
Wow, boy, he's a
Well,
well-rounded role model
Anyway.
for our Michigan sports team.
that'll wrap up Statless Sports.
By the way, it made me hungry and miss Christmas.
Can we keep this train a rolling? Can we
Yeah.
keep it on the tracks?
Oh God, I'm trying. Okay.
Let's get on the same page, page 42.
Okay.
It's Jackie Robinson's number, Black History Month. All right, so Earth is full, where of course we kick out and kick off a member of society from the planet Earth. Eric, lead us off.
So I didn't have one off the top of my head, but I'm doing a callback from last week.
You couldn't think of anyone.
No, I mean
There's
I
billions of people.
I consider Juwan, what's his name,
Howard?
Howard.
You can't even think of his last name.
And then I also kind of considered Putin, but those are just, I feel like, low-hanging fruit. I
Putin
want
for starting a war?
I want to bash, yes. I
Not
want to
bad.
bash on, I want to keep beating this old drum and kicking this horse. I saw something pop up that the spouse, the husband of the, was it the camera producer that Alec Baldwin killed?
Right.
I guess he must have watched our episode. He agrees with me. 100%.
A lot of people do.
Right. The Hutchins family filed a lawsuit on February 15th against Baldwin and others involved with the film. And his quote,
Rust, right?
yes, alleging the reckless behavior and cutting costs, blah, 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 blah. And Baldwin has denied accusations that it was unsafe. Quote, Mr. Hutchins, the idea that the person holding the gun and causing it to discharge is not responsible is absurd to me. Matt Hutchins told Today co-anchor Oda.
You're doing great, Eric.
I'm doing good. I'm good. Anyways, so that was all I wanted to beat that horse a little bit harder. You know?
So Alec Baldwin is already floating like in the stratosphere. What are you doing? You're just punching him further into space?
I'm gonna go ahead and just give him a nudge because once he's out there, they keep moving. Just nudge him towards the sun, in the direction of the sun.
Just to keep on. You want him to burn, like Icarus, fly into the sun. Fly too close, burn up. Remember Eternals? Did you see Eternals?
No, I want to though. I do want to watch that one.
Yeah,
I've heard good things.
It's all right.
Do you? Oh, okay.
I
Never
told
mind.
you it's worth
Never
watching,
mind.
but we already talked about it once.
Never mind.
Mine, do you know who Bob Baffert is? The winningest horse
yes.
race
Yes.
Or horse trainer. I don't even know if he's a trainer.
He's an owner, I believe.
He's an owner.
Yes.
That's it. That's more appropriate term.
Right.
Anyway, he's the winningest owner in horse racing
racing.
history. And most
Those
recently,
fucking glasses.
his most recent winner, yeah, he wears his stupid fucking glasses.
Like,
He's
there's
got
like
this
purple / rose.
the white
tinted.
hair. Everybody knows this guy by sight. He's got like the white hair and the glasses.
Yeah.
He's like the guy they always show on
He's
fucking
probably
TV.
right behind us right here.
So
behind us.
his horse Medina Spirit has been stripped of his 2021 Kentucky Derby title because the horse has been officially
juicing.
disqualified. Yeah, tested positive for some betamethasone in its blood on race day, which is like a
Juicing.
steroid for horses. Like, dude, you have so much money, you have so many accolades. You know what I mean? Like, you have no reason to cheat, and you still did it anyway. It's greed. It's greed and it's pride.
It's absurd.
And it's gluttony and it's all the 7 deadly sins. And get off planet Earth, Bob Baffert. You gotta go.
You know, they made a movie back in the 80s about this sort of thing, and it was a very great movie. John Candy was in it, and
Cool Runnings.
No, Bobcat. I don't know how to say his last name. Goldswaith. And it was a movie. It was a little movie called Hot to Trot,
Okay.
and it was about juicing horses in a horse race.
I love that. I
think Bob Baffert, whatever his name is, was in.
Did you ever see Seabiscuit?
I did. It was a great movie.
I never saw it. Apparently, Tobey Maguire fucked his back up real bad on Seabiscuit.
Yeah, because he fell off a horse.
Well, he had some riders and stipulations in his Spider-Man contract where he couldn't do certain stunts because his back was so fucked up from the horse racing movie. But they thought he was just like trying to get out of it. And there was this whole controversy on the set of the Spider-Man 2, the old one.
He did a
back
great
when he
job.
was-
I think he
he
did a
was doing
fantastic
that.
job. In,
Did you see the new
Seabiscuit.
Spider-Man?
Not yet.
Toby's in it. Spoiler.
Oh, I know.
Spoiler.
I heard. I knew.
I'm spoiling
I know.
now.
I know.
Fucked up back and all. He's fucking slinging webs. If Tobey Maguire can still sling webs,
I can still ski on Sunday.
yeah, you
Yes.
can still ski. That's
All
right.
right.
Where to next? You've been to every state? How many states have you been to?
I've been to 44.
That's impressive, actually.
There's only 6 states left that I've
What are
not
the?
been
Do you know
to.
the 6 that you've never been to?
Hawaii's one of them. Oregon, New Mexico, Arizona,
Okay.
Utah,
Bible or the Midwest.
Utah, and I can't remember the other.
Colorado.
North Dakota.
North Dakota, but you've been to South Dakota.
I've been to the Black Hills. I've been to Mount Rushmore.
That's great. That's great. All those things are great. Do you want to do what's your point?
Yes.
All right, let's take some questions from the fans.
Do we have any?
Nope, we don't have any questions from the fans this week. You know who usually gets those to us?
Oh boy.
Super producer Mickey
Mickey
Kitchell.
Kitchell.
You're supposed to text them to me.
Oh, was he? Well, he didn't do it this week, and that's all right. So, Eric, what is the now? Let me ask you this: what is the next state you're going to go to? How about that, huh?
The next state's
Yeah, so
probably
you got those
Pennsylvania.
the six of the six. That you,
I would love to go to Utah. I would love to go to Utah
where,
because I want
Provo?
to go skiing. I want to do
Salt Lake,
No, well, I mean, fly into SLT or SLC.
Salt Lake City. You got a real kick out of
I
that.
know, I did. I made myself laugh.
All
No,
right.
there's a couple places I want to ski out in Utah. Hawaii is also high on the list. But I think before either of those, I'm going to go hit up North Dakota.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I would do Hawaii if I were you.
I would
but
love
That
to.
was just me. And I'm going to do New Mexico soon. Sunday went out there.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, she went out for a bachelorette party, and none of her friends watch Breaking Bad. And we're in like
man.
Super Note, but they do like these Breaking Bad tours out there where they take you like to
Where they
locations on the set. I think you get to go in the Winnebago and like, or they drive you around in a Winnebago to make it like.
Did
kinda
they
like that.
actually film in New Mexico? 'Cause I
Yeah.
thought I saw they did a lot of filming in like Arizona.
No, I think they filmed a lot of it there. Well, there's a whole tour based on it. It was 2 cities in New Mexico. I think that they split it a bunch. And I'm
I
going
hear it's
there.
wonderful in the winter.
I hear the winters are remarkably mild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing else to talk about. There are no more questions from the audience, and Eric has got to get home because boy does his back hurt.
It's killing me.
Man. This has been, as always, a completely unextraordinary episode.
Could you hurry up so we can tell these people to subscribe?
Hey
My
guys,
God.
thanks for tuning in. Hit that, slam that, like and subscribe button.
Slam it.
Eric needs extra money for painkillers for his back. We want to do it. We want to get them for him. Like, subscribe so he can get high and ski.
Just push it. Push the subscribe button in the most unextraordinary way, please. By the way, it made me hungry and miss Christmas.
Oh, God. I don't even know what that was in reference to.
Your sports. It was about condiments and Christmas.
Elves and
Yeah, all right.
peppermint.
You don't remember all the references you made? Condiments and Christmas.
All right.
Oh, God.